Rhythm is life, rhythm is soul. I say let's get it right this time. Let love unfold.
Malcolm, yes.
Terry, I think this is such a wonderful pointer. It's so easy to overlook this, that thoughts are not aware.
Yeah.
If you have to get that.
Yeah.
That's where we've been pointing.
Yeah.
Since day one.
Yeah.
You have to get it.
You have to.
These thoughts are aware. They're not. They're not aware.
Not at all. What and Malcolm, man, like if it's not, what's it basing its story on?
Yeah.
It's all fabrication, all pure imagination, just like the content of a dream when you're asleep.
Yeah.
That's why teachers for eons have been saying the same thing. The dream state, then the waking dream state. It's exactly the same. Yeah. This waking dream state we take to be real. Oh, this is my life, and I'm here, and I'm a person, and I'm experiencing this and this and that, and you know. Lizzie, yay.
Excuse the question. It's a bit dense.
That's okay.
But it keeps coming to my mind. Why does consciousness, or how is it even possible that consciousness can produce something that isn't conscious, i.e. your thoughts?
Is consciousness conscious?
Not of itself, no.
Then who's producing the thoughts?
I don't know what you mean.
Your question was, how is it consciousness can produce something that's not conscious?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So your dream character, when you're asleep on your bed at night, and your dream character arises in the dream, is that dream character conscious?
No.
No. What's responsible for the dream? You'd have to be conscious for the dream to even happen. Yeah.
Well, no, when you're asleep, you're not conscious.
Really?
No, that's not true.
This is kind of
when there's dreams happening, even in deep sleep, no dreams, no nothing happening. Yeah. And someone calls out your name. There'd have to be something there to wake up, would there not? There'd have to be something that's hearing, hey, Lizzie, wake up.
Yeah.
When you're in deep sleep.
Yes. I mean, that's true. The experience is not like that, though. The experience is like whatever it is that you're saying has to be there is actually gone. And it is called back by someone shouting.
Yeah, look, the closest I can get to answering that is in the seeming absence of consciousness, awareness is there. Now, people can get confused about those two words, consciousness and awareness. Mm. Yeah. Awareness itself is not conscious, but it's aware. Now, try and get the mind to get its head around that.
Well, it's kind of a bit like the witness, isn't it? Awareness in that.
Yeah, but what's the witness? For there to be a witness, it'd have to be witnessing something, wouldn't it?
Yes.
So it's not like that. Yeah.
And
That's a hard one, Lizzie.
yeah,
I
yeah,
understand. Yeah.
very fine point. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And the only way you're going to get the answer to that is if you sit still.
I can assure you that there's not necessarily any answers coming if you just sit still.
Oh, you'd be surprised.
I would.
Yeah. Yeah.
Terry, can I ask you something else, which is a bit of a burning question? You know, not you, but it is said that I suppose the pursuit of who you are, or the realization of who you are, I'm not quite sure which, is the best thing you can do with your life. Why do they say that when, you know, a bit like Jackie said, you know, if you just sit around like, you know, hoping for an answer to all this?
I'll tell you why it's the best thing you can do with your life, because in doing it, you awaken from the dream.
But
You
maybe,
awaken to your true self, to your true nature.
yes.
Yeah. Like completely awake. Then you can start living.
Yes, but what if you don't?
Then it doesn't matter. Absolutely does not matter.
You could have used your life for something else, like teaching roller skating.
Yep, if that's what comes up, go do that. Yep, nothing wrong with that. That's what's happening.
But still to understand, why did they say it's the best thing? They could just say it's another thing that you can do. Why the best thing?
Yeah, they could. Yeah, they could. Yeah. You're not going to get an answer out of me there.
You know. Thank you.
It's all right. It's to see, look, the pursuit, Lizzie, has got nothing to do with Lizzie. The fact that it's happening, it's got nothing to do with you. Zero. Absolute zero.
The you, but it's the you that's generating everything.
Well, let's just, this personal me, this Lizzie, feels like it's here, that's on a quest and is trying to search and trying to get and trying to understand and so on and so forth. That Lizzie will never get this.
No.
It can't. But fortunately for you, you're not that. It's the recognition. You've got to come to see what you're not. Don't keep assuming you are. If there's an assumption there, challenge it. Challenge it. And in doing that, you'll start to see how the mind works, how it really works, without getting bogged down in the story and the content, without falling into the dream. Yeah.
Well, it seems like, you know, this imagined me, the thoughts which can't be conscious, they all live in a little box. Not the thoughts, but it's like it's a little box that the seeming me operates in. Yeah, it's a little prison, and it can't go out of that. That's what I take from what you say.
Yeah, and yeah, but that's a story too, isn't it? That's a concept too. That's also a story that the mind just told right then.
Yeah, that's right.
Mm.
But it's the only tool I've got here, you know.
Yeah, and wow. Really? What about seeing, hearing, tasting, touching, smelling? It's the only tool you've got?
Well, they're as much in the prison as the thinking is. They're not conscious either.
Really? So the seeing's in the prison.
Well, why would the thinking be in the prison and seeing it's not?
There is no prison, honey. But tell me, in your direct experience right now, you're seeing, yeah?
Yes.
Is that in prison?
No, it's
Good.
not. Why would thinking be in prison if seeing is not?
It's not in prison. It's just, there's just thinking. You're implying, yeah, that the thinking is me. And therefore the me is in prison because the me is trying to find its way out of the mind.
Yes.
Me is the mind. You're not in there. And furthermore, you're conscious of the mind. Now flip that, Lizzie. Is the mind conscious of this that's conscious of it? Look.
Yeah, it appears not.
In your direct experience. In your direct experience. You're conscious of the mind, yeah?
Yeah.
Good. Do you know what it feels like to be conscious
Yes.
of the mind?
Yes.
Yeah. Now see if that is in the mind being conscious of this that's conscious of it.
But somehow I just got stuck up on this idea that thoughts are not conscious. And I don't know how that can possibly be true in a world where everything is consciousness.
Because the story that the thoughts are saying is there's me and I'm conscious and this is my individual consciousness.
Yeah.
Furthermore, consciousness is in me. And none of that's true. Is there consciousness? Yes. But it's one, not many. It's only mind that says otherwise. Yeah. But in the absence of mind altogether, you will experience what it is I'm pointing at. Yeah.
So the fact that I don't see what you're pointing at means that I cannot drop the mind. Is that right?
Correct.
So even when I think it's dropped, it's not.
Especially if you think it's dropped. If you think it's dropped, it hasn't dropped because you're still thinking it's dropped.
Okay, well, so how is it
Sorry.
can't drop the mind when it's possible to be there without thinking? It's possible to do that, but the mind is not dropped, even though you're doing that. How's that possible?
Just happens.
So you agree with me that although there are no thoughts present, the mind is still present?
No, if there's no thoughts present, there is no mind.
But then if that's the case, you should be if there are no thoughts, then you should be able to see who you are. It should become clear.
Yes.
Well, I maintain it's possible to be without thought and not know who you are.
Stay there. Stay there. If you're able to, yeah, and I doubt it, but if you're able to arrive at a place of absolutely zero thought, stay there in that experience. All gets revealed there, not via, the revelation is not via thoughts.
Why does it appear then, Terry, that there are no thoughts when apparently there still are? How does that happen? What are the thoughts that are...
No. I'm not saying that, in the absence of thoughts that there are still thoughts. I'm not saying that. I'm saying if there's the experience of the absence of thoughts, stay with that experience. instead of constantly diving back into thoughts. Yeah. That very experience, Lizzie, is presence in the complete absence of thoughts. That very experience is presence. Stay there. And the mind might arc up, you know, and go, oh, yeah, I'm here, but like, and thanks for sharing, but, and stay there. That's what I'm pointing at.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's only thoughts that overlay, constantly overlay this presence. Instead of noticing the presence, what we constantly do is notice the thoughts. Which is, you know, in fairness, that's what we've been doing our whole life.
Yeah, well,
Our whole life.
there's a magnet to the thoughts. It's like,
Yeah. Yeah. You know, let's keep it really simple. Yeah. Are you the thoughts?
no.
Right. What are you doing playing around in there for? Why play around in there? If you know that, why play around in there?
Because you see, there isn't, when there's no direct experience of consciousness, but there are thoughts, there's this space in the middle where there's not either thoughts or awareness of consciousness. It's just kind of blank. It's quite peaceful.
Stay there. Just stay there, Lizzie. See what happens. But expect nothing. I shouldn't have said and see what happens. Just stay there. Stay there. You even said it's quite peaceful. That's a tip. When is it ever peaceful in there?
No.
When is it ever pleasant in there? When is it ever happy in there? When is it ever anything in there? It's all imagined. It's all imagined. Just like in a dream when you go to sleep. Yeah. Yeah, that silly little pointer that I use, which is, you know, if God comes knocking, you better be home. Because if you ain't home, he'll knock and you won't hear. And you just go on to the next house and he'll knock there. If awakening is going to occur, you better be present. You better be home. Where else could home be other than here? Anything else other than here is imagined. Yeah. Come home and sit there. Get out of there. Bob used to say, Sailor Bob used to say, just don't go there. Full stop. Don't go there. You find the mind is all active and it feels like you're caught up in it and so on and so forth. Yeah. Catch that and just go full stop. Stop, full stop. And there'll be a moment of stillness that you'll experience.
It also changes the way you think, because your thinking starts in my mind, it's like your thinking starts to behave like a terrorist, It kind of lurks behind the bushes with a gun, ready to come in and think something. And as soon as it does, you go bang yourself, and it stops. So you got this endless series of half-thought thoughts.
And all of it is occurring in the mind, including Lizzie. Personal sense of self I'm talking about. This idea that we have of ourselves. There's a tip. It's just an idea that we have of ourselves. Even the self is an idea. In the absence of the mind, in the absence of all ideas, who are you then?
So is an idea a thought?
Yeah, clearly.
Well, an idea isn't a thought that's going on. It's a kind of belief that's held quietly without being examined.
But it arises as a thought. How do you hold a belief without a thought? Seriously.
Well, I think they just lurk around in memory. They don't have to be conscious to be beliefs, do they?
Yeah, no, thought can't be conscious.
No. But you hold beliefs without even knowing that you do.
Yeah, but there's no you there, Lizzie,
Beliefs,
that's holding the belief.
beliefs are held in the mind.
Correct.
Without,
And you're not in there.
but there's no consciousness that beliefs are held in the mind. It doesn't have to be a conscious thing. It's just a belief that's held.
Yeah.
I believe it's wrong, the obvious one, to kill anyone. Now, that's not something that I have to bring to mind and think all the time.
That's innate. Yeah, that's innate. Yep.
So, but it's a belief, and you're saying it's a thought, but it by being innate, it's not a thought, is it?
It's still a belief.
Yes, it's a belief.
Yeah.
So even though I'm not directly thinking it, it's still a thought.
No. Lizzie, I'm pretty sure I'm right in saying this. Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Yeah. It's not in your nature to kill somebody. It's got nothing to do with what you think.
So if it's in my nature, it's no longer a belief. It's a...
Good. That's right. It's what? It's where you're going to go. Where you're possibly going to go. It's what?
Well, it's a part of the mind-body makeup.
You went straight into the mind again just then.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's the only place I go for answers.
I know. That's okay. Until you stop. Yeah. All those questions, Lizzie, have to come out and be addressed.
Yes, that's how it seems, because they're a bit like white ants.
Yep. They've got to come out. They've got to be challenged. Yes, they do. There's nothing wrong with that. I much prefer a person be speaking about what they feel or think is happening than just sitting there with all this stuff going on and they're not saying anything. Speak. Yeah. Get it out. Let's look at it.
The other thing that it seems to me is a bit of a pointer is I ask you these questions, you give me the answers, and it's like it just gets filed somewhere. I probably would never think of it again. It's just that it has to be asked. Do you know what I mean?
It has to be asked. You'll get an answer. And then you could just be walking along and all of a sudden the answer dawns on you. Just dawns on you. Oh, it'll just dawn. That's what this is about. Yeah. There's no you that can get this. Yeah. Just keep coming back, asking the question. Ask them. By all means, ask. Get them out. Let's challenge them all. Yeah. And eventually what you will experience, yeah, is the mind will stop asking questions. It'll just stop.
That would be good.
Yeah, it just does. It just stops asking. Yeah. And you turn up here, you know, mind is not asking questions anymore. Yeah. If anything, all that will be happening for you at that point, yeah, is there'll just be this constant, yeah. That's the knowing that starts to come through from direct experience. To get there, yep, get them out. Get them out. You have to. And they all need to be challenged.